I'm Beth McCoun, and we're with Shelby County Public Library here today, and we're here for our 30-minute yoga. So we want to get started comfortably seated in a chair, and if you have your mat available, go ahead and have it available as well. And we'll start right away with a little bit of breath work, and we're just going to do a little bit of cat-dog tilt with the breath work. So as you're here, hands can be on your knees or on the chair, but we'll use the inhale to sway the back and open the chest. And then we'll use the exhale to round and arch. And we're just going to take another 30 seconds here, just flowing with the breath. In and out here. The breath is always in and out through the nose. The inhale typically helps us to open, and the exhale typically when we're closing the body or rounding. And then just finding center once you've completed your last one. Our next pose that we'll start with will be a thread the needle position for a hip opener. So you may want to sit a little further down on the chair to be comfortable and have the legs level. With your left foot pointed straight ahead, you'll use the right foot to cross above the left knee. And then with the right hand on the knee, the left hand on the heel, we'll flex at your ankle. Inhale, lift the chest, and exhale and fold into the pose. Now we'll be here for a minute, and you're still breathing in and out through the nose. And each time you exhale, you just allow that exhalation to help your body maybe lean a little bit further forward to deepen into the pose. Or you might exhale and feel the breath moving toward your stretch, toward any area of tension. It's natural to kind of lean a little bit more into the right sit bone than the left. So just being aware that you're even on both the sit bones. And as always, the most important thing going on here is that we're alive and we're breathing. We're not pushing through any pain, we're just enjoying the stretch. And just keep the breath flowing. And then we're ready to come back up. And we'll undo the legs. Just take a moment to observe that, how it feels, the difference between the right and the left leg. And then as always, we'll do your other side. So we'll cross left ankle above the right knee. Left hand can be on the knee, right hand on the heel. Pushing down with the left hand, pulling up with the right. The inhale will lift the chest again, and the exhale will fold the body forward. Doesn't matter how far. As always, in all of these poses, we're just finding our own comfort level here. And no matter how ridiculous or impossible the poses feel, again, we're alive and we're breathing. So we're just focusing the breath in and out through the nose. And allow that exhalation to help your body let go, relax a little bit more into the pose. Always thinking about where you feel the stretch, that it's a good stretch, it's not a strain. A couple more deep breaths. And we're ready to come back up with the inhale. And then just find your seated position right here, just a neutral position. Let that settle. So while we're here, we're just going to be aware of our posture and what it's like. I'll show you from a side view that sometimes we may have a tendency to sit in our chairs like this with the back swayed and that dog tilt a little bit too much. Or we might have a tendency to slump and round in our poses. So finding mountain pose in standing and in our chair, we want to find our best posture possible. So we're feeling the weight even on the sit bones and feeling grounded through the feet and everything that's touching the floor. And we push down into the feet and feel the legs lifting up. We notice that pelvic tilt. If it's too much dog or too much cat, we try to find somewhere in between. We lift up on the pelvic floor, a little bit like you're doing a Kegel exercise or trying to stop the flow of urine. A couple inches below the belly button, press that toward the spine. Always feel the chest lifted. My bad habit for years and still is to slump a little bit like this, so be aware that breastbone is lifted. Collarbones are wide. Shoulders can be like this sometimes, so shoulder blades down the back away from the ears. You might leave your hands on the knees, or you might drop the hands down by the floor, toward the floor. Crown of the head rises for the ceiling. And in all the poses, we're thinking about all these little details, feeling the base of the pose, that whatever's touching the floor or whatever is touching anything, that it's grounded, that we've got a neutral pelvic tilt typically in most of the poses. Sometimes it'll be either or. And that the chest is lifted, the collarbones are wide. Shoulders, if they're up by the ears, we're thinking about rolling the shoulder blades down the back away from the ears, reaching the fingertips toward the floor so that we relax through the shoulders. And then crown of the head, just feeling a little bit of lift there as if it's rising toward the ceiling. And again, we do all of this with a soft, steady gaze. Now, adding a little arm movement for us from here, we'll reach arms overhead with the inhale. And then we'll exhale and bring the hands down by your side. A couple more times, we'll inhale again, use the breath. Try to make that inhale last till the hands touch, and the exhale all the way till the hands come all the way down. A few more times. Again, think about the breath. Most of us, our inhalation kind of stops maybe here or before that. We're trying to make it last all the way till the hands touch. It's okay if they don't touch. And then we exhale and try to make that last all the way till the hands come down. One more time with the inhale as we bring it up. And now when you exhale, we're going to bring the right elbow underneath the left. Now some of us, we might want to modify here and just place one hand on each shoulder. And some of us will have the hands not meeting, but the thumbs are towards your face instead of away from your face. Some of us will be able to let the palms touch. So for the first 15 seconds, we're going to lift the arms up and away from the body. Again, keeping that neutral pelvic tilt in the spine and the hips. Breathing in and out through the nose. And then when you exhale, we're going to lower the elbows down toward the floor and breathe to that stretch and observe where you feel that. Another deep breath. And then last couple breaths, you might point the elbows a little bit more toward the ceiling. Drop the head back if that's available for you. If there are any neck issues, don't bother dropping the head back. And then when you release it, we'll exhale, slowly lower the arms down, undo the arms, and then just roll the shoulders forwards and backwards and observe how that feels. And then again, we get to do the other side. The inhale will bring the arms up, and the exhale will have the left elbow underneath the right. Again, remember your modifications, whatever you prefer. First, arms lift up and away, and we're just holding for about 15 to 20 seconds here in each position. Again, it's natural that you might overarch here with the spine, but just keeping that neutral. Another breath. Exhale, lower the elbows closer toward the floor. Keep breathing. Observe how it changed the stretch. And each time you exhale, focus the breath toward that stretch. Another breath. And now last couple breaths, if you want, try to point the elbows a little more toward the ceiling. This turns it into a little bit of a back bend. This is optional. It's optional whether or not you drop your head back. Keep your chin level if there's any neck issue. Another breath. And exhale and lower it down. And again, we'll roll the shoulders out. Forwards and backwards, and just feeling that. And now just a little bit of side movement with the arms. We're going to inhale, let's see, bring the right arm up, and exhale and just let that left hand move toward the floor. And then exhale the right arm down, and inhale the left arm up. Let your right hand move toward the floor, a little bit more of a side stretch here. And exhale, the left arm comes down. And inhale, the right arm comes up. Exhale, take the left fingertips toward the floor. We're breathing. And then exhale, right arm down. And inhale, left arm up. Right hand reaches more toward the floor now, just getting a little bit more of a side stretch in, starting to hold a little bit longer here. Another breath. And then left arm comes down. And now right arm comes up with the inhale. This will be our last one. We'll go ahead and hold for another 15 to 20 seconds here. Left fingertips reaching for the floor, right arm overhead. Some of you may have arm restrictions and shoulder restrictions. You might just want to rest the hand to the hip. It's okay wherever you are. Keep the breath flowing. Exhale, the right arm comes down. And now we'll inhale the left arm up. And right hand moves toward the floor. Again, remember your modification if you need it. That we always want to be comfortable in the poses, feeling a stretch and not a strain. Exhale, find your way back to standing position. Okay, so we're going to start now standing, and we're coming back to our mountain pose. You can see that I've got the chair in front of me, so if you want to take some time to get your chair in front of you, if you have a mat, or if you're just on your floor, however you're comfortable, have that behind the chair. So when we were seated, we talked about standing and the mountain pose. So now we're going to observe standing and how we feel standing, what isn't touching the floor, how we're grounded through the feet. We might pick the toes up, spread them wide, lay them back down, see how much color of your mat you can see in between the toes. Now, if your balance is a little bit off, that's one of the reasons the chair is here for you. So if you need to grab it at any time, you go ahead and take the chair. Now, as you feel the feet, observe the weight even between the front and the back of the foot. When we lift our toes and spread them wide, it lifts the arches of the feet. So now we're pressing down into the feet. And we're lifting up through the thigh muscles, engaging the muscles above the knees so we can feel the legs kind of tighten and become a little more active. So from a side view, I'm going to show you how when we were seated, sometimes we stand or sit with too much dog tilt, too much cat tilt, how all of that affects what's going on in your whole posture. So we're trying to find somewhere in between, neutral, when we're standing. And observe. Then we're lifting up on the pelvic floor again. A couple inches below the belly button, we're pressing that toward the spine. And then again, we want to have the chest lifted. Show you from a side view that sometimes this can become our posture. So visualize from the side view that your shoulder is stacked directly over your hip, which is over your ankle. Sometimes the head comes a little too far forward. So getting that ear in line with the shoulder, so all of that stacks up. And then becoming aware again of what's going on in our arms and our shoulders, that we're not up like this, really tense, that we want to roll the shoulder blades down the back away from the ears. Reach the fingertips to the floor. Be active with the fingertips, like you're really going to touch the floor. And that engages all of those muscles from the tip of the fingers all the way up through the neck. And it helps us keep the shoulders down. We're breathing. We're visualizing a little lift in the crown of the head. And somehow we do all of this with a soft, steady gaze in all of our poses. We're able to smile and breathe through our poses. If we're not, then we need to get out of the pose, take a little break. And this is mountain pose. You can practice this when you're standing in the grocery line, when you're just in your house washing the dishes, brushing your teeth, whatever you're doing is finding better posture. And then we're going to take a wide leg forward bend now. So we're going to step your feet about one of your legs distance apart and turn the toes just a little bit inward so sides of the feet are parallel with sides of the mat. Now you might want to hold on to the chair here while you're doing this or while you're getting into this position. You might be able to just rest the hands on the hips. We could even reach arms out wide. And whatever position we've chosen, we're going to inhale to lift the chest. And now exhale and fold the body forward. I'm going to scoot the chair just a little bit more forward so I can get the weight even between my feet, the front and the back of the foot. We're going to hold for a minute here, just observing the stretch through the backs of the legs. So everything we talked about with mountain pose applies here. Feel the feet. It applies in every pose. Just a quick mental scan. Feel the feet. You're grounded. You might pick the toes up, spread them wide to feel the arches lifted. Now try not to let the legs be active, or let them be lazy. Let them be active. Tighten, engage the muscles above the knees. Here we do not have a neutral pelvic tilt. We're actively swaying the back a little more. More that dog tilt, sticking the buttocks out, trying to reach back through the sit bones, lengthen through the spine as we lean forward. Lift up on the pelvic floor. A couple inches below the belly button, press it toward the spine. And then trying to get those shoulders away from the ears. See how I was already a little tense there. So just, it's always a mental scan. Length through the crown of the head. A soft, steady gaze, and we're breathing. To come back up, you might use the chair. Slowly find your way back to standing. Heel toe the feet in, and bring the feet either together or hip distance apart. Back to mountain pose. Now we're going to take your legs, one of your legs distance apart again. If you need the chair, feel free to hang on to it. And then we are going to turn the right toes out 90 degrees toward the end of your mat or toward that right wall. The left toes are going to turn in slightly. And we've got a straight line roughly from our right heel back to the left arch as we inhale and bring the arms open. When you exhale, we'll bend the right knee 90 degrees. Warrior B pose if you wanted to look out over right middle finger. We're going to flow back and forth from reverse warrior to warrior B. And so we'll reverse now with the straight leg on the inhale and the arms up. And the exhale to bend the knee, bring the hands shoulder level. Inhale again, straighten. Exhale again, shoulder level. Inhale again, arms up. Exhale, we'll hold now for 30 seconds. You could also rest the hands on the hips if you need to. Make any modification, adjustment that you like. Be there with the breath. Feel the feet. Feel the legs. Observe the pelvis, the abdominals, chest lifted, shoulder blades down the back, active in the fingertips, a soft, steady gaze as the crown of the head rises. Now we're going to straighten, bring the arms up, and you might keep the arms overhead or you might take the left hand down. And then reach back a little more with those right fingertips, sliding the left hand down the leg. Again, you could modify here, do this with the hands on the hips. But as always, you find your pose. And wherever you are in any pose, keep breathing. Feel it in and out through the nose. Arms coming back to shoulder level. Right toes will turn inward. Heel toe the feet in and bring the feet back to standing as we come to mountain pose for another 30 seconds, just to let that settle. You're breathing. Again, your quick mental scan. The feet, the legs, the pelvic tilt, the abdominal locks, lifting up and in. Chest lifted, collarbones wide, shoulder blades down the back. Fingertips active. Crown of the head rises for the ceiling. And somehow we're still smiling through all of this. We're ready for the other side. Hold on to the chair if you need it. You can stay holding on to the chair if you need it. We start with one of your legs distance apart. Then we turn the left toes out toward this end of the mat or toward that wall. The right toes turn in slightly. We're strong through the legs. You could either have hands to the hips or bring arms out to the side. Inhale. Exhale, bend the left knee 90 degrees. Now we're going to flow in and out. So inhale, the arms up, straighten the front leg. Exhale, bend the leg. Inhale, straighten. Exhale and bend. One more time flowing. The inhale up, the front leg straight. The exhale will bend and we'll hold. We can look out over left middle finger if you like. You could rest hands to the hips if you need to, but this is lazy fingertips, lazy hands. So remember to be active even through the fingertips. Feel as if they're going to touch the front and the back of the room for one more breath. Now we reverse it. Left leg straight, arms up. Right hand can come down. And you might slide that right hand a little further down the leg as left fingertips reach behind you. Again, okay to modify, okay to hang on, Either way, we're breathing. We're feeling the left side body open. One more deep breath here. And then coming back to that warrior pose with the leg bent. Straighten it again. Let's turn the toes in, heel toe the feet in. Come back to standing. All right, the last part of our class is going to be to balance. So again, I've got the chair in front of me. You may or may not need a chair. It's completely up to you. But I'm going to step a little bit out to the side of the chair so that you can see that I'm hanging onto the chair if you need it. Some of us do for balance, and we might be able to let go. But we want to notice the feet first, that as we're standing, left foot and toes point straight ahead, not out to the side of the room. And then we shift the weight into that foot and leg. Pick the right leg up a little bit, turn the heel out. Natural tendency as we're here that both the hips want to turn with this leg. So try to keep the right knee going outward as the hips remain forward. So you might stay right here. The foot can never leave the floor if you don't want it to. There's a tendency to push the foot into the leg and shift the hips, so be aware you get strong in that standing leg, engage those muscles above the knee. We're back to mountain pose, just like we've talked about before. Strong in the leg, that's what's holding us in place. So maybe the right foot stays on the floor, maybe the foot comes up below the knee, or maybe we're able to help it to be all the way above the knee. But the only way we can do any of that is to stay really strong in that standing leg. Maybe we keep the hand to the hip, or maybe we bring this thumb up to the chest. Maybe stay holding on with this left hand, letting go occasionally, or eventually bringing both thumbs to the chest. This can be your pose, or you might be able to reach the arms overhead. I want you to enjoy that pose as long or as little as you want. You could pause the video if you need to work on it a little bit longer, hold it a little bit longer. Know that it's okay just to come back to mountain pose whenever you need to. Fine standing. And we'll do your other side. So just shifting where you are, and everything starts with where we're standing. So if you need to peel the toes apart, that helps us to balance. And we want to notice that right toes point straight ahead, not out to the right side of the room. We're holding on or not holding on. Hand might be to the hip. Open the left knee to the side. Hips stay forward. We're breathing. Maybe the foot stays on the floor. Maybe it comes up. Maybe you're doing a little touchdown with it the whole time to find your balance. Even if you're doing that, even when we wobble, we're finding balance. So again, foot above or below the knee, never directly on it. Standing leg is firm. We've got a little spot that we're staring at that doesn't move. A spot on the floor or on the wall. And that helps us keep our balance more than anything. Fine standing. Hold as long or as little as you want to. And we thank you for coming to Shelby County Public Library Yoga. Hope to see you next week.